All right, welcome back. We continue live right here on Pittsburgh CW. Thanks for joining us tonight. Bob Pompeani with you, riding solo until 11 o'clock. Join us for the Showdown live at 11:35 on KDKA. All right, I got some tweets, and I'll get to the phone calls here in a second. But Jeremy Hillman says, Bob, if Aaron Rodgers never wins another Super Bowl, do you think his legacy takes somewhat of a hit? Well, Jeremy, I don't think so. I think his numbers were actually good today. I thought he put the ball on the money, threw an interception. That's the one thing I'm sure he would like that back. But overall, 300-plus yards, couple of touchdowns, that interception, he wasn't the reason they lost. They lost because they could not stop the run game in San Francisco. Simple as that. They dominated the time of possession. They dominated the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. He was also running for his life at times. That's a tough team to play against in San Francisco. I give a lot of credit to John Lynch and his team for doing that. All right, let's go to the lines. We got Matt in North Fayette, who's first up tonight. Matt, thank you for calling. What's going on?
Hey, Bob. Thanks for taking my call here. I'm a Penguin season ticket holder, and today was a low point for this team. And not the game so much itself, the fans. That was disgusting by giving your starting goalie the Bronx cheer. Not just once, several times.
I agree. I was disappointed to see it just because of the guy. He's 24 and he's won 2 Stanley Cups. You know, I mean, okay, exactly. Goalies have bad starts to bad games. That happens. But it's how he responded. And those same people, I guarantee you, were part of the standing ovations that he got later in the game. And, you know, that's how it is in sports, though. Matt, you shouldn't be surprised. If you watch shows like this, if you listen to radio, you're going to get hot takes, and people oftentimes are angered, and they come out with these takes. And sometimes it's better just to let it play out. Stories develop as a result.
I give Crosby a lot of credit. It had to really irk him for him to say something.
It did.
That's not like him to come out and say that. But I think we're all not stupid. The reason why he got it, it's not stupid. It's the Fleury thing. We're not dumb here in this city. They're still irritated that he's gone. People need to just get over it. He's no longer here. Matt Mercer's starting goalie, and I think Sullivan pretty much said it today by starting him and staying with him. The way he worked through that third goal wasn't even his fault.
Right. But he did, you know, I mean, the beginning when he gave the puck away, the first 2 goals I thought were goals he could have stopped. So it was not a good start, but so what? I mean, that happens. It's digging out. And, again, he's shown the ability to kind of mentally be stronger than that. By the way, speaking of Fleury, I'll just remind you that there were a lot of people here many years on this program wanting Fleury out of town, too. I think it's just the way it is. It doesn't matter who you are, especially if you're a coach, a quarterback, a starting pitcher, or goaltender. You're going to get a lot of flack when things don't go well. But again, it's funny how this works. I remember last week, for example, watching Twitter, watching everyone after it was 24-0 Houston talk about game over, forget about it, unbelievable, Kansas City continues to stink, and once again, Andy Reid continues to suck. All right, you're not going to play the rest of the game? And what happened the rest of the game? Things happen. That's sports. That's what's making it interesting. How do they respond? What's inside of you? Dig deep, find out. And we did. And that's why I love stories like, Raheem Mostert, a guy who had to dig deep, not give him much of a chance, could have quit. It's easy to quit. You got to keep going. You got to keep working. You got to keep trying to get the opportunity. You will never get it if you quit. And he never quit. And now here he is. After being undrafted in 2015, you think by now his career would be over. He'd be in the CFL. He'd be looking at the XFL. No, he finally got a chance, and look what he's done with it. So that's pretty good. Let's go out to Jerry in Hempfield. What's up, Jerry? How are you?
Hey, Bob, I hope you don't think what I'm going to ask you about the Steelers is out in left field. You look at the Ravens, Kansas City, Houston. They got all these young quarterbacks that are for the future, okay? The Steelers, Rudolph is not the future. Roethlisberger has 2 years to go, and it's going to go very fast. Now, when these quarterbacks come up, the first, second round, 2-round quarterbacks, and they'll say the Steelers can't get them, the Steelers should call that team up and say, we'd like to have that quarterback if we want him, like LSU quarterback or Clemson quarterback.
You're not going to get those guys. That's number 1 pick overall. That's never going to happen.
Okay, well, here's what I would say. Do you need an offensive lineman? Do you need a defensive lineman? Which one do you want of ours? We'll give them to you for that trade. Now, these guys are getting old, and they're getting high salary now. They ain't going to be there forever, but the quarterback they get will be there for a long term.
Yeah, but without the support of the offensive line, see, you've just created a problem for a young quarterback. No matter how good you are, If you come in and you have nothing protecting you, you're going to end up like David Carr. Not Derek Carr, but David Carr, on your back more often than, I could make an analogy, but I'll stop. So the bottom line is you need all of that. If you look at what San Francisco did, John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, they came in 3 years ago and they decided to really invest heavily in offensive and defensive linemen. That's where it was going to start with them. And yes, they made a smart trade to get Jimmy Garoppolo. That was good. At the time, a lot of people still doubted it because of so much money. They signed him, but it was good. They made a shrewd trade to add Emmanuel Sanders to it. I mean, there are a lot of things you can do, but trying to get Joe Burrow, and that's not happening. He's the #1 pick overall. He will be, and next year will be Trevor Lawrence. That's not going to happen. The Steelers are, if Ben Roethlisberger is healthy, in my opinion, they're going to be fine. If they could figure out a run game, and they're going to have to really address offensive line in the next 2 years. I agree with that. Just because you need horses. You need young horses up there. But I think they could turn things around quickly. As far as Mason Rudolph, I'm not willing to say he's not the future. I want to see more, just as I did with these kids we're talking about who get opportunities. Let's see what he did. He learned a lot this year. And I thought if he was healthy for the rest of that Jets game instead of getting injured, I thought they would have won that game. But I don't know enough about him yet. I want to find out more. Let's go to Don in Mount Washington. What's up, Don? How are you?
Hey, Bob. How you doing tonight?
Good. Thanks for calling.
Two things. With the Penguins, Malcolm and Russ, those two are something, and it seems like they have a nice combination whenever they make a good goal. The second thing is, who was your pick for the Super Bowl?
Well, now that I know it's Kansas City and San Francisco, I had Kansas City winning today, but I, for some reason, thought Green Bay could go in there and win and atone what they did the first time, but they just didn't do it. I would have to say that I think San Francisco is a better all-around team, but I'm intrigued with the speed of Kansas City's offense, and I believe it's going to give San Francisco's defense some problems. I'd be more interested in telling you what I think of over and under. I'll go over whatever the points are. That's what I'll tell you. I don't know who's going to win. I think it should be a classic game, and it's good that Andy Reid is going back. One of those guys who's gone through a lot personally in his life, a lot of tragedy, but he is stuck to it. Football is probably his biggest release. He's there. He loves it. He's one of those guys who I think is good at it, too. He just never got to the big game. Now he's back. One time in Philly, now this. Mike in Breezewood. Breezewood, our next destination. What's up, Mike? How you doing?
Pretty good. Hey,
Good.
a caller called in last night wanting to know about what they would get from Marte if the Pirates were trading him. They'll probably get a 26-year-old career 5 ERA AAA player and 2 utility infielders. And also, question.
You don't think
about
Starling Marte would get more from a team
well,
that really
that's
needs
just the Pirates' history. That's just a little
Okay.
sarcasm there with Pirate history. The Astros scandal
Right.
going on seems very similar to what the Patriots did back in 2004. And it seems like there's a very different reaction from the media. Astros, the guys are fired, they're gone, they want them banned. But everything continued on. The Patriots, they get caught 2 more times throughout their Brady and Belichick's career, and they're still considered the greatest of all time. Why do you think there's that double standard between baseball and
I don't know if it's a
football?
double standard. I think the league itself, it's not so much how the media has, presented their arguments here. It's more what the leagues have done. Baseball didn't want any part of this, and they immediately decided to do something about it, whereas the NFL did not. There were media calls at the time of Spygate. It got nasty. People wanted big-time suspensions. The NFL didn't want any part of that. They went out of their way to get rid of evidence. They went out of their way to not discipline. I mean, come on, really, $250,000 fine, lost a draft pick, suspensions, none, not whatsoever. Bill Belichick continued to go. They were not interested in having that thing go farther. But what it did, though, ironically, is that it allowed New England to say, oh, well, if that's going to be the repercussion, we can do it again in some other form or fashion, and they have. We're going to take a break, come back with more. 412-575-2600. That's the number to call right here live on Pittsburgh CW.